A common problem scenario is the Confluence admin gets a call that the wiki's running slow or it's unresponsive. And what can they do? There's various tools out there that can help you profile your application and see what's actually happening with it. But sometimes red tape or audit processes delay getting these tools installed. So our developers with the beards and caps, they thought about putting all that functionality into a plugin. And that's what we did. So we've got the Adaptavist Health Monitor plugin. It's basically like a stethoscope for your Confluence application. It'll show you how the application is running. So let's see what it looks like. So here we've got the Confluence dashboard, and we're looking at the health monitor here. So it gives you 4 windows into how the application is actually using the resources of your system. In the top left, we've got the CPU utilization, and you can see here it's graphing how the system's actually using your CPU. You can see here we can hover over various parts of the graph and see what it's looking like. So we're just under 2%, 1.5% on that. Down below that, we've got a graph of the classes currently in the application. It's about 15,000. You can never have too many classes. In the top right, we've got a graph of how the memory is being utilized by the system. And we've got that nice sawtooth pattern there, so it's all looking good. We can also choose what we want to see on that graph, so the committed or used memory. In the top left, we can then choose the type of memory that we display as well, non-heap or permgen and heap. So all this information is really useful if you might be encountering a kind of memory leak or something like that. Down below that, we graph out the threads that are running in the application. And again, we can choose what type of threads that we want to display in that graph, and it updates immediately. And we've also got further threading information on the thread tab. And this lists all the threads that are currently running in the system. And it shows useful information such as block time, CPU time, runtime. So it's really good if you have a potential deadlock. On the third tab, we've got the collection, and we've got counts and times. And this is useful, again, for possible memory leaks. So going back to the monitor, we can see the system is running along quite nicely. But I've decided that I want to install a new plugin. I'm a sucker for plugins. This one's ominously titled the Bad Plugin. But it has the CPU job, which I'm sure must boost my CPU performance. So we've installed that. We've left the monitor running for a while, and we can see that we've had a massive spike in our CPU utilization. It's gone up to about 72% there. So obviously something's gone wrong. I can actually correlate the time when I installed the plugin with the graph here. You can see that's when the spike started. And I've since disabled it now, so the graph has gone back down to normal. But I can actually zoom in on this area and have a closer look at it to see what's going on. And you can see that there's a bit of a pattern forming there. That plugin was actually designed to do a CPU-intensive job for about 15 seconds and then pause for 5. So you can kind of see that. We can zoom in a little bit further and get that graph in a little bit more detail. So this information would be really useful if I could send this to my developers. So I can head over to the snapshot tab. You can see here I can capture the data that we've just been looking at, and I've chosen to only capture the data in the zoomed in range. So that generates all that data in JSON format. I can copy this, send that to my developers, and they can upload it in their instance of Confluence and review the exact same information. So they've got the CPU, the memory, and all that threading information. So hopefully they can use that information to refine that plugin and get that CPU utilization down. So the health monitor basically is a tool directly inside Confluence, giving you a look at how it's actually utilizing all the system resources and hopefully avoid any spikes like this or excessive memory consumption. So we think it's a really powerful tool for your development team and for your Confluence sysadmins to see how things are going.